right, the recording has started. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hi, Lauren. Hi, Allie.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Good, good. How are you doing?
Well,
Not too bad. And for those of you who are just joining us this week, I'm Lauren, and I'm the Director of Development here at PassionPod.
I'm Allie. I'm the Director of Marketing and PR.
And I'm Tosca, and I'm the founder and CEO of PassionPod.
Very exciting. And Tosca, I can see you got a haircut.
I did. A friend of mine came over, and I wish we could say we got drunk and I cut my hair, but no. Very, very bizarre to be all masked up and gloved during a situation like that, but it was done. It was good.
Looks very chic. I like it.
Thank you. I'm back to being Tosca. You know that they the shutdown happened the day before I was going to have my haircut.
I hate that.
I had this crazy long hair, and I was like, no.
I hate when that happens.
I had mine dyed lighter right before we went into quarantine, and then I dyed it red since we've been in quarantine. So
yeah, I love your hair. It looks great.
Thank you.
So yeah, any updates about this past week and what we've accomplished?
Well, we're 11 days away from the premiere of Gabriel's Inferno Part 1.
Woo! It's exciting.
Yes.
I hope everybody
gonna be
likes it.
They're gonna.
I know everyone's been asking if we're going to do something special, and the answer is yes. And you will find out very, very soon. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow.
Oh, good. And then I'll find out.
Yeah, you'll find out at the same time.
Good. That sounds great. That's how things work.
I'll just let you know what you need to do.
Beautiful. Can I put on a fancy dress though?
Absolutely.
Awesome. That's all that matters, really.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have my daughter do my makeup.
Oh, and it's 25 cents, right? Can she do my hair and makeup?
She's 25 cents to do hair and makeup.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so budget friendly. I love that.
It's so budget friendly. I might be like purple on one side and pink on the other, but you know, it's cool.
I think that's nice.
You know what? It's all the rage right now. Quarantine hair is a real thing.
It'll be great.
Yes, it is.
Could be any color under the rainbow.
Yeah. And then another awesome thing, yesterday we had, or not yesterday, last week we had a wine tasting because PassionFlex is going to be creating our own blends of wine for our own wine brand.
That's so exciting.
I know.
So
we're going to have, ultimately we'll have 5 different wines because there are 5 numbers on the barometer of naughtiness. And so we'll release one of them, I think 1 or maybe 2 before the end of this year, which is very exciting.
That's awesome.
Cannot wait.
Oh, I love that.
Wine and
Just what we need.
And then we'll have
exactly.
We'll have themed wine for our Wine Wednesdays, because people who don't know, sometimes on Wednesdays we stop working around 3 or 4 in the afternoon, turn on a PassionFlex movie, and watch with some wine.
Yeah, you got it.
Pretty fun. Yeah. Awesome.
What have you been doing, Lauren?
This past week, and I'm just gonna brag because I've never read this much, but I read 6 books in like 4 days. That's awesome. I read 2 books one day, 2 books another day, and then 2 more books over 2 days. A couple by Kristen Proby, because I was just like, I can't make a decision about her series, which ones we want, so I have to read this whole series. So I read the whole Boudreaux series in like 4 days, and I messaged the author, and she was like, oh my God, that's impressive. And then I read the rest of Avery Flynn's Hardigan series, because I'd read Butterface recently, and then I'd read Tomboy and Muffin Top. Both really fun books. So yeah, pretty busy week reading wise. Every day I would wake up, go on the computer, answer some like info emails and stuff like that. And then I'd be like, do I have anything to do, or can I like read? I should read. And so
best job ever.
I love it.
It's been really nice. I'm really Tosca. I'm in the perfect job for me because I love reading. And if it's a book that grabs me, I can read it really fast.
Yes. I'm very lucky to have you.
Thank you. So that's basically what I did this week. I'm also prepping to get Gabriel's Inferno up on all of our platforms, you know, for when the time comes so people can watch across our website and our apps and Amazon and Comcast and all that fun stuff. And Roku.
Yeah, people don't know it's actually quite a bit of work that goes into, so besides us making the movie, when the movie's actually finished, the final product is sent to us, and then Lauren and Ali at this point has made sure that all the artwork is done correctly for all the different platforms that PassionFlix is on, and then Lauren literally links the title to all of these platforms and updates all of the metadata, which is the synopsis, the actors, my name, everybody that works on the film. She updates all of that information on all the different platforms, and it just have to make sure that it's all there. So thank you both.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, it's very cool to. It's almost like I've got all this power because you.
I'm like, please get it up.
On our backdoor system, you literally have to upload all of the minutia data of like the summary and the director, cast, whatever, and the photo images and stuff like that. But then you also get to publish it, so you're the one who sets up where it releases, and it's just exciting.
It is exciting.
And never in any
Not
other.
Not as exciting as editing part 3, which is what I'm doing now.
Ooh, I love that. I actually have a couple of quick questions from I deleted them, but I remember them from a couple of fans. One person asked what process goes into making the soundtrack for the movie, and another person asked what time we usually release the movies worldwide. So I thought we could answer those.
Well, with regards to the soundtrack, it comes down to all the songs that we use in a movie. So if we use, I think you have to use five songs and less, you can only create an EP and not a full soundtrack. So, but most of our movies have a few more songs in them. Not all of them. Brothers Honor didn't actually have that much, but we had. But in Gabriel's Inferno, because it is 3 parts, we'll actually have quite a few songs. So we'll be able to have a soundtrack. So what goes into that is us firstly finding the song or recording a song. And then we have to make sure that we now get all the soundtrack rights prior to them even going into the movie, which is something that we didn't do earlier on, but we do now. And so that's what ultimately allows us to get it. And then when we get the actual song, you have to get a very specific recording in order for it to be uploaded to the various music distribution places. Music is hard, by the way. It's a pain in the ass, I gotta tell you. But they should really change the way they do things. But yeah, so we upload it to those systems, and then when that's been approved by a number of different iTunes and Apple Music and all those things, then it actually releases. It can take a few weeks, but we're hoping to release a soundtrack for Gabriel's Inferno in June.
Very exciting.
Exciting.
That's awesome. And then
I might have a surprise song on there or 2.
Ooh. I love that. And for our release, I think for people who don't know, we try to release at midnight Honolulu time. So it goes live at some time zone where people are awake or not.
Yeah.
Same day. So if you're in LA, it'll be 3 a.m. And if you're on the East Coast, it'll be 6 a.m. and then vice versa for everywhere else.
Cool. And it may be a little different for Gabriel's Inferno.
Oh, okay. God. Way to screw everybody over. Oh, my goodness. What?
You know what? I'm done with you. Just kidding.
I love teasing. It's so
maybe different, but we're not going to tell you.
We'll tell you. We'll tell you.
Well,
now we're all desperate to know what you're going to say this afternoon or tomorrow.
Oh, Allie. So it was really awesome that we had Olivia on last week because
she's awesome,
and I love her, and that was really fun. Very long conversation. It was almost as long as our first one about Gabriel's Inferno.
Yeah, great. I really look forward to working with her, and it's so crazy to think that we would have completed filming both Field and Crashed by now. If they
just dig that knife in deeper, T.
Right, but it's just like, it's taken us so long to get back to this point, and that literally as we're about to do it, the world shuts down, and you're like, man, when's that gonna happen?
Yeah, we actually got questions too on Facebook about when we can film Rapture, and it's it's the same thing. We're stuck right now until the world reopens.
Exactly. I don't know when we'll be able to go to Italy. So it's we're all on standby. Everyone's ready. It's just a matter of when we're able to go to Italy, really.
Yeah. In the meantime, we'll release Gabriel's Inferno parts 1, 2, and 3, and we'll keep doing these.
And just so everyone knows, to clarify on Gabriel's Inferno 1, 2, and 3, it is the first book that we've divided into 3 because it's 5.5 hours long. It's not all 3 books. It's the first book, and it's 5.5 hours long, and it's taking us a very long time to complete it. So that's why we're releasing it in 3 parts.
Love it. No, people are gonna die because it includes everything. I don't think it leaves anything out, which is gonna be great. So we have the lovely Celestine Rae and Jeremy Batiste joining us today from A Brother's Honor, which is very exciting, and I can see they're both patiently waiting in the waiting room, so I'm gonna admit them now.
Okay, perfect.
All right, there's Celestine, Jeremy. Oh, she's counting.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
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 And it's so good to see you guys.
You too.
You too.
Hey, okay, hi.
Hey.
Jeremy, we're down here.
Sorry. Hey. Yeah,
Hi.
my camera's here, but I have a big monitor here.
Oh,
Look up there, kind of. It's
Well, if you
weird.
look up there, we're gonna look at your chin.
Okay, well, I gotta, that's why I gotta either move this camera, do something here. Hi.
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 I'm just,
So cute.
I'll figure it out as we go.
It's okay.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
so good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, I'm so
Thanks
happy
for
to see
having.
you all. How are you doing?
We're good. We're, just trucking along.
Hanging in.
Working from home. Yeah.
Celestine, you're on the East Coast, right?
Yes, I'm in New York.
How's it going over there? That's pretty different than LA.
Oh yeah, the New York experience of all of this is totally different from LA. Like, I mean, you guys are like, well, I'm in Long Island, so I also have a different experience. Like, I went for a run earlier today, and that was good. But like, New Yorkers who are stacked on top of each other, they're struggling. Like, I've been speaking to my sister, and she's just like, I cannot wait to get out of here.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have and also, didn't you guys just recently have a snowfall? Or
In certain areas of New York, yeah, we didn't get it out here, but in certain areas, yeah.
That's really
like,
cool. For us, it's like I'm wearing summer dresses and flip flops, and I'm like, when can I go outside?
Yeah, it's totally
75
different.
degrees today.
Totally different.
Yeah, but everyone is safe and healthy, and
Yeah, everyone I know is safe and healthy. I do know a few people who had coronavirus. I know a few people who have lost some people from it. So it's really real over here in a scary way. And I'm just like counting my blessings every day because all of my close family and friends are okay. So I'm really grateful for that.
Good.
Yeah. And I've been drinking my vitamin C powder every day. Like, I'm like so afraid. All of my friends are having like drinking parties, and I'm like, I'm getting my immune system together. I can't chance it.
Oh no, yeah. I refused to drink for the beginning of this like lockdown. For the first month, I think I didn't drink, and we were eating like clementines every day. We were like, any kind of vitamin C.
Yes, all the vitamins.
Yeah.
that's the opposite of me and Allie, by the way.
Yeah, we've
No,
wine.
legitimately.
How
The
soon
wine.
can we have a glass of wine? How soon? Is it okay? If it's
Yeah.
What
It was
about
getting me through.
I went to the grocery store to grab, like some essentials like everybody was doing, and the 2 people in front of me in line were getting like 24 bottles of wine. And I was like, okay, cool. They're stocking up on their essentials.
Absolutely.
New York didn't close down the liquor stores. They were like, nope, that's essential. I was like, yeah, for many people, it really is.
I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
Incredible. Well, cool.
What about you, Jeremy?
Oh yeah, Jeremy, how are you doing?
Vitamin C or wine?
What's that? I don't really drink that much. So no, I mean, just kind of the same as everybody else. I mean, I've lost a few people to the virus. My aunt just passed on the weekend.
Oh.
But aside from that, I mean, it's doing as much as I can to flatten the curve. It's one of those things, So it's just kind of grin and bear it, just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
about that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Jeremy.
It's okay. Yeah.
And on that note, we'll move on to
Some of the questions. Yeah, well, one of my first questions was, did you have any projects that you had to put on hold for quarantine, and then what have you been doing to kind of stay creative and stay sane since
Ladies first.
I was supposed to do a live performance at the Billie Holiday Theater out here. It's something that I'm a part of every year for the last like 4 or 5 years, I think. And it's this like monologue series, all monologues written by women. And I love doing it, and we had to shut it down, but we did do it on Facebook Live. So that was my first experience doing like a live performance, and it was, the rehearsal process of that was so interesting. People's internets were going in and out, and people's forgetting to turn their sound on. And I was like, I don't know what the show is going to be, but we're going to do it. And it was actually pretty amazing. So that was, I was grateful that we still were able to do it. But other than that, no, because I was just auditioning for pilot season so much. So everything just kind of came to a halt, but there were no projects that were in the like queue except for that one that had to just totally end. Yeah.
Celestine, is that something we can still see, the monologue that you did?
I think so. I'll check on the website. Yeah, I think they might still have it up. Yeah.
Cool. Share the link with us and we can.
I will.
Yeah, for me, there wasn't really much in the pipeline. I did going out for a lot of pilots. Aside from that, you know, I also work in music, so I do like audio tech work and other things like that. So mostly just kind of been working on that. So we did have a lot of projects down the pipeline with that, but I mean, you know, as soon as like social gatherings and stuff got canceled, it was like, oh, it went right out the window. So yeah, it's, you know, again, one of those things. So I'm looking forward to, you know, when things kind of, I don't know if things will get back to complete normalcy, but you know, I'm looking forward to being able to get together with bands and stuff and get back to recording and things like that.
Yeah.
It was so funny because I was watching some of Jeremy's his Insta stories of him making his music, and I wrote him, I was like, you're so in your element right now. You are so unbothered by being able to stay home.
I'm really not bothered by it. I mean, this was my normal life before anyway, so it's like literally quarantine is like, oh, that's what you call this.
I was emailing you about this, Jeremy, and you didn't respond for a couple days, and then you came back and you were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was camping really quick."
Yeah, I was literally in San Luis Obispo, like in the middle of nowhere, camping. I was like laying in a hammock for like 2 days.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Really nice.
It was nice. It was nice.
My roommate's parents have a pool at their house in the valley. They just recently bought a house in Palm Springs, and that's where they've been this whole time. So the valley house with the pool has been abandoned. So the past couple weekends, my roommates and I have gone over and swam in the pool, and it's been a very nice break because you're in the backyard, you're secluded, you don't see that people are wearing masks, and you're just relaxing, and it was very nice. It was a good.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend it if you have the possibility. Go somewhere quiet, and it's nice.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, this time is, you know, no better time to kind of like, you know, reset your vibration. I think, you know, connecting with nature or whatever you can do to try to just unplug is kind of essential as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know about unplugging. We've been pulling like basically 12, 13-hour days at PassionFlix in general. So to me, I was saying this before, I'm like, I was supposed to have filmed 3 more movies by now and then moving on to doing the sequels with the Brothers on and all those sorts of things. And you're like, I don't know how I would have done 3 more movies by now. Basically,
we
just
don't either, T.
and doing all the stuff that we're doing now. I was like, wow, I would have figured it out somehow.
Well, yeah, that's just what you do.
Yeah, you are amazing. I don't know how you get so much done. I'm just like, I'm always fascinated every time I'm like scrolling through Instagram. I'm like, oh, they shot something else, and now Tosca's here, and she's got it. It's amazing.
Seriously impressive. Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, you should see. We have this giant list of all the movies that's right next to me, and we're just looking at how we're going to do them and when we're going to do them and how many I can do this year. Right, because we were going to do 8 this year.
8.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now that's not happening.
Yeah. See, Tosca, you were too ambitious. The world fought back.
And they just.
That just means when things
like, you need to stop.
That just means when things resume, you have 16 to do.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly.
She will do it too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
I read 6 books this week, so I've been pretty productive.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing. I've been reading again too, and I'm like, I forgot that I love to read. I was listening to so many books on audiobook.
Yeah.
Because in New York, well, as all of us know, our lives are so fast. So it's like, oh, I don't have time to sit and open a book and read it. So I'm like putting my headphones in, and I'm still getting it. But now I'm like, there's something nice about opening an actual book and reading it and getting cozy and, you know, having that experience of letting your imagination just only focus on that and not be like, okay, the subway and this audition and that audition. Like, it's weird. Like I was resisting the slowdown at first, and now I'm just enjoying it.
That's nice. Yeah, a little reset time.
Yeah, reading is so great, and I don't do it enough. I do a lot of audibles as well. And then just last night with the kids, I was like, you know, why don't we just sit and read?
Yeah.
Just sit and read. And
how long did that last?
They have any favorite books, your kids?
My kids are a little too young still. I mean, they like things like Dr. Seuss and things like that. They're not
Harry Potter fans.
Sorry?
Harry Potter fans? Not yet.
I'm desperate to get them to become Harry Potter fans.
Start reading it to them. That's what my parents did.
Scary to them.
It scared them?
Scary. Yeah, they're 7, so it's just a little too scary. You know, parents died and the evil wizard is coming after you, that sort of thing. And he's like,
yeah, I was young when the first movie came out, and I definitely got scared of the flashback where Voldemort goes and kills his parents. I was like, is the door?
See how that'd be scary for a child.
But all of our movies were scary. Like, I think about The Lion King, and like Mufasa gets killed by Scar, and like
they were.
The mother's dead in like the first like 15 minutes of the movie. It's just like, what are these kids' movies and stories that they were coming out with? But that's another conversation.
Yeah, Cinderella. My goodness.
Yeah.
Cinderella is horrible.
Yeah, that's intense. Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, I thought we could dive into some of the questions. And my first question is, how did you guys first get into acting? Because I know that a couple of our fans are curious about that.
Ladies first.
I'm just going to assume that I'm going to go to
love it.
Well, I started off as a dancer. So I started dancing when I was 4 years old, and I did ballet and eventually modern and tap and jazz dance. So performing and being on stage was like always part of my childhood. And I also went to a performing arts middle school. So we put on plays, and I was doing like Bye Bye Birdie and Little Abner and Oliver. And so I was in a lot of shows and stuff. And that was like the thing that I always did. And I used to write scripts and get all the kids in my neighborhood to be in my plays. Like a bossy like kid, and would like knock on their door and be like, Sarah has to come out for rehearsal now. Like, let's go. So eventually, when I was in a dance company when I was in high school, and when I went to college, I started out majoring in dance. And one of my really close dance teachers said to me, you really need to think about acting, because when you dance, you do more than just move your body, you're performing, you're telling a story. You really need to think about it. And my roommate in college, my freshman year of college, was also a filmmaker. So she would also always grab me and be like, be my subject, be in this, do that. Like, she was just always using me for her class projects. And eventually I was like, okay, I really need to take this seriously. And then I moved to New York, and I went to a Meisner conservatory program and studied, and started hitting the ground running right after that.
Amazing. That's awesome.
That's my origin story.
Yeah.
For me, I stumbled into acting in high school. I was actually an athlete, and my original agenda was I was going to play sports. I got injured, and it just kind of spiraled into a whole different direction. And I ended up in this, in Texas, theater is competitive. So I went to a UIL one-act play competition, which we nearly won state for doing fences. And from there, I was seen by a bunch of schools, and I also did this monologue in front of a panel in front of a bunch of colleges, and this one school, it was a Meisner Conservatory as well, uh, in New York City, School for Film and Television. They offered me like a partial scholarship to go, so I decided, sure, why not? You know, I'll go there for 2 years, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll go back to playing football. My original goal was to study psychology and journalism, but I ended up in acting. But I kind of approach acting now with this approach through psychology, which is makes it very interesting for me. But yeah, that was like kind of my road into acting was really if I had not like gone a different direction from sports, you know, I'd probably be, you know, in Houston, Texas, doing, you know, being a therapist or something. So
That's incredible.
yeah, yeah.
That also doesn't surprise me because when we were in London, for Rare London, you and I had a couple of very like deep conversations at different like lunch and dinners. I'm just like, damn, Jeremy, he digs.
Yeah, you know, it's an infinite well that my mind. I can definitely go into some. I love rabbit holes, so you know, don't start one with me. Like, you know, yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. And then I also thought we could talk about how you first found out about the roles of Shana and Jace, and then what your reaction was to getting the roles.
I guess I'm going first.
First, apparently.
I was at home and I got a call from my agent, and he was like, hey, I'm working on this project. He said it, that's how he said, I'm working on this project. They like you. I want you to read this script. And it's from this company called PassionPod. Tosca Musk owns the company. And he said, yes, Musk, as in Elon Musk, Tosca Musk, yes. So read the script. And I was like, okay. So I read the script, and he's like, yeah, they want you for the lead role. And I read the script, and I was like, okay, yes, I want to do it. I'm interested. And we talked a little bit about it. We talked a little bit about, you know, how, because it seemed like it was happening really fast. And you know, he was like, we need to know if you want to do it. And I was like, okay, give me a second. But I fell in love with Shana kind of immediately after I read it. So I was like doing this weird thing of like, should I do it? And I'm like, of course I should absolutely do this. Absolutely. So I hit him back up and I said, yeah, it's a yes for me. And within like, I think within a week I was in Florida shooting it. But I remember thinking before I went, because I didn't know anybody really associated with the project. And I remember saying like sometimes I take like a moment to kind of just like check in with myself. And I said, you know, I really want this to be a moment where I meet a lot of really amazing people. I remember saying that to myself before I left to go to Florida. And that is exactly what happened. Like, I can't express my gratitude for the experience of playing Shana and being in A Brother's Honor and meeting all of you and Jeremy and everybody in the cast and Lane and Miss Brenda. It's been amazing. So that's the long answer to your question.
So great.
Great answer.
You know, and you were wondering how, you know, how we do so much so quickly. It's really okay, great. We are going to make a movie, and it's going to be, and we're going to make it in 3 weeks. Let's go. Let's find the best people and like who's available. And we try and we have to try and make films so quickly, which is why a lot of the times actors are like, what do you mean we're filming in 2 weeks? We just
yeah. But it's crazy because what you do is you create this energy, and I don't know if you're probably not even aware of it, but everybody just gets automatically on board because they're like, look, we have to make this movie in this amount of time. And it just creates this kind of collective force of like, we're going to make sure this gets done. And that's what I felt from you, from everybody, that it was just this team. It was teamwork from the beginning. We were like, we're making a movie. Let's go.
Yeah. We're very much a teamwork company, and we love it. We love it when everyone comes together and just makes it happen. It doesn't help when just one person wants to make it happen. Then it's like nothing happens. Yeah. Everybody has to be on board. Like, okay, guys, we can do this. Let's go.
Yeah.
What about you, Jeremy?
For me, so kind of similar. I got a phone call from my representatives, and they were like, there's something coming down the pipeline. We want you to take a look at it, you know, give us your honest feedback. We don't want to put you in anything that you're not comfortable with. So I was like, okay, cool. And I started reading the script, and I was like, immediately like, this is pretty awesome, actually. It was like, you know, and so I got back to my reps and I was like, I mean, I would love to audition for this. And they were like, well, it's an offer. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, then yes, I want it. So yeah, it kind of came like it was like just a great gift that kind of came, you know, seemingly from nowhere. But I'm sure, you know, obviously you guys did your homework, and I am more than grateful that I was your choice. But yeah, that's how I came to understand the world of Brenda Jackson, and I was like, this is a thing.
Mhm.
Um, and I was like, this would be so awesome to be a part of, you know, no matter what comes of it. So for me, I was over the moon because I was, you know, at this time where I was like going out for a lot of pilots and you know, a lot of, you know, co-stars and guest stars, and when I would land those, it's awesome. But to play a lead in a film was like, you know, that's part of the reason why I you know, started this journey in the first place. So I was more than ecstatic, and you know, it proved to be a great experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. And can you guys talk about the first time you two met and what your first impressions of each other were?
So the first time I met Jeremy, we actually didn't do a table read, which I can't believe we just hit the ground running the way we did, but we didn't do a table read, but we did do a cast meeting with
Yeah.
the director, and our script supervisor was there. And so we all sat around and we got to kind of chat, and Jeremy was the last person to kind of come in the room, and he walked in the room and he was super gracious to everyone, and he avoided me and he said hi to Rob, hi to Michael, so Dalton, Caden. Then he went around and he said hi to Lane and our script supervisor, and then he came over to me and he said, my lady, it's nice to meet you. And I was like, oh, he's a gentleman. He's really sweet. That was my first impression. I was like, oh, he's nice. He's a really nice guy.
Oh
But
my
he totally avoided me at first. He was just like completely just like, and he avoided me our first day on set together too. I had to like stalk him and be like, hi, can we line together?
That's incredible.
really, Jeremy.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like I don't want to ever create a space, especially on set, with, you know, with an actress, especially one that you're going to be doing very intimate scenes with. I don't want them to I don't want to make I don't want to jeopardize that relationship. So for me, it's like, let's just be very professional. I'll let her come to me if anything. Otherwise, I'll stay in my lane. For me, I think I think that's very important, especially, you know, as you know, a lead actor in the film. You also kind of have to, you know, ensure that the morale of everybody on set is kind of on high, you know. So I just did not want, I didn't want to send the wrong message or the wrong kind of energy. Not that I'm that type of person, but I didn't know who she was at that time. But regardless, I mean, I thought, I was like, well, you know, what a wonderful presence, you know, like right off the get. Everybody's energy, I must say, was really interesting. I always say this, but like it felt more like this, I don't know, like a spiritual kind of a energy. Like it was like this divine thing, and everybody's like, we just clicked immediately. Um, but yeah, like, you know, I certainly loved her presence, her energy. She's, you know, obviously very elegant and very graceful. But again, you know, I wanted to ensure that she felt safe. And that was the main ingredient of everything behind my motives on set, was that she was safe.
It worked. I mean, it worked because then it put me in the position of power, and I was like, I gotta go find this guy. Like, all right, you know, I had that moment, but then I was like, oh, this is good. And so much of us working together was based off of that safety. And then it was like, and that's the kind of person I am. Like, I like to feel safe in my relationships, and I like to feel safe with whoever I'm working with. And I felt from the beginning, I felt very, very safe. And then it was like, when you feel safe with someone, then it's like, well, all bets are off. We're just going, we're doing it. And then I felt totally free to be like, we're doing it. Okay, let's go. Love scene. Let's do it. You know, but we had already established that trust, and I had already felt his energy was that he was going to be making sure that he was taking care of me. And he did.
Beautiful. That's really beautiful. That's a great story. Thanks so much for sharing that. That's so important for us, especially because of the type of content that PassionFix makes, which is a little bit more on the connection and communication and two people meeting. So it's a little bit more adult, I guess.
Yeah.
And also we're taking romance novels and turning them into movies and series, and we want to make sure that this pushes the idea of communication, connection, respect for everyone, consent, all these sorts of things are really important to us. So I love hearing that was how it was on set. And I only got to spend a few days with you on set, not too much, but some very warm days there.
Yes.
Yeah.
My hair was like wanting to frizz. Every time I walked outside, I was like, all right, like the hairstylist Nancy was like on my hair, putting stuff in my hair. It just kept wanting to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was like, Florida weather.
It was straight up hot and humid.
Yeah, it was.
So hot. Yeah. It was so hot. But
it was a nice time.
Locations, so
Well, I'm from Texas, so it's similar. So I was kind of like, hey, this is my element.
That's right.
Yeah.
Love that. And Jeremy, you've actually realized later that you knew Celestine from something before.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing that story for people who weren't at the premiere?
So, I'm a big music guy, so I grew up watching tons of music videos, and just anyway, regardless, there's a 50 Cent music video that used to come on all the time, and there's this woman in it, Celestine Rae, and I was like, oh man, she's quite gorgeous. That's not really what I thought, but I was very attracted. All right, at this time, and so it turned out that I fast forward to meeting her on A Brother's Honor, and then it clicked. And she was like, yeah, I was in a 50 Cent music video. I was like, what? Oh, that was you! Oh my god! Yeah, so that was like one of those weird things. I was like, did I manifest this, or no? It's just one of those things. I don't know, but yeah, I was like obsessed with that music video specifically because.
I got instantly shy when I realized that he knew who I was. Like we were just talking about like love scenes, if we've done love scenes before, and I was like, well, I've done stuff in my lingerie, and I was like, yeah, and I did this like 50 Cent music video. It was really like flippant the way I said it. I wasn't like one time, like it wasn't a thing. It was just like, yeah.
And immediately my mind went to the moment that I was like, oh, that girl. Like literally, it was.
You quoted the video back to her, and she's just like, "Damn."
He wanted to put it on. I was like, no.
I was like, that was you. Yeah.
And we talked about it. We had first heard about it when we were in London. We were having dinner one night, and that's where it came up. And we were all just like, "What? 50 Cent video? That's so cool."
Yeah, the same for me. My mind was literally blown the moment she said it. I was like, "Oh my god!" I used to like literally wait for that music video to come on just to see her.
You nerd.
Crazy the way the world works.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, I have no more questions for the universe. Now it's just like surrender all to the wind. Yeah. You just never know.
That's where Jeremy was like, this was meant to be.
Yeah, literally. Lived out a whole thing.
Can you guys?
I had a whole relationship with her.
I love it. No, you full circle. It's great.
Yeah.
Do you have a most memorable like part of the experience of filming A Brother's Honor that you can share? Like what you take away most from it?
Ooh, I guess the most memorable. There were so many memorable moments. It's really hard for me to pinpoint just one. Also because Jeremy was so funny. Like he made me laugh in between almost every take. I mean, when we were working together, we were really, really working together, and we were serious. And when we weren't shooting, like on the weekends, we would get together and we would work online. So that is really memorable to me because we both had this like dedication to the work, and also we learned so much about each other. It's weird to me to think that we were only working on this movie for 3 weeks. It felt like longer. And when I left, I was like heartbroken. I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I just worked with someone and got so close to them and now I'm leaving. That was bizarre for me. But I think one of the funniest memories that I have is after we shot the last time we shot a love scene. So it was actually our second love scene, but it was the last one we shot. And we were in the midst of making love, and Lane goes, okay, we got it, cut. And we both looked at each other because we hadn't like finished in our minds.
Yeah, it was so
we both had this
anticlimactic.
moment where we looked at each other, we were confused.
Like,
And we were like, we were frustrated
we were sexually frustrated without the actual real sexual frustration. It was interesting.
And he just looked up at me and he goes, well, it's been great simulating with you. And that was the closing of our final love scene.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
God, Jeremy.
remember that. Yeah, that actually, to be honest with you, I have to share that moment. That's probably one of the most memorable moments from the whole shoot, because I was kind of like, we are making a love. This is like, that's what we're doing, right? And then I just looked up and said, well, it's nice simulating with you. It was, yeah, the entire set burst into like absolute, like
everybody was laughing.
hysterics.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's just how I felt. I like, whoa, all right.
Well, you pulled them off beautifully. You pulled off those sex.
Absolutely.
They were really great.
Oh, I'm absolutely pleased with the way things turned out. Absolutely. It's just funny when you're in the process, you have no idea how it's going to turn out, you know.
Yeah.
You just do your best, forget the rest.
Yeah.
But the entire experience was memorable, to be honest with you. The entire 3 weeks was, it was intense, but it was also, beautiful. The relationships that was created, the trust that we created. I can't think of any other times in my life where you create these bonds so quickly, and then there's such a level of trust, and I'll always hold that dear to me, that this is one of the first films that I got to do, and that was the experience. So yeah, it was the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you were so great in the movie, and I remember before we went to London together, I was really excited to meet you, but I just thought you were going to be this super serious guy, because you did it so well in the movie, and then you're so different than what I thought. in a great way. You're so much fun. But it makes me realize how well you did in the movie, because you're so different.
I appreciate that.
Really wonderful. I was ecstatic with the movie, and yeah, very happy, especially because I didn't direct it, so I wasn't there. Normally when I'm there and I have a different, and I'd met you separately, but I wrote it, which is great, but so I know what's gonna happen. It's perfect for it. I was seeing it kind of from afar, and I flew in for a few days, but then I'm like, but then when you actually get to see the movie, I'm like, man, that's amazing. I love it. You guys are perfect for the roles, and you were from the very, very second that you were pitched to us, and so I'm just so thrilled that you accepted them, and then you excelled in the role. So it's amazing.
Thank
you. And it's a reciprocal feeling. I'm glad that you trusted us with your baby, essentially. And I'm forever honored to be in that position, and moving forward, I'm just excited to see where things go.
Yeah. Well, speaking of it was really Brenda Jackson's baby.
Yes,
very,
exactly.
very honored to have that opportunity. But so, if you don't mind me asking, what was it like to work with Miss Brenda Jackson?
Awesome.
I was gonna say ladies first, but since I got the floor, I'm gonna go ahead and take it. I mean, she is such a presence, for one. I love everything about her. I'm also into signs and stuff, and she's an Aquarius, and so she was very Aquarian. Just beautiful water-like energy. Just for her, it's like, I don't know. What can I say? It's like she exudes this power without really like enforcing anything. It's just when she's there, that she's there. and the energy of you know, what she wrote and, you know, how she wanted to see things through. Like, you know, it takes I'm not gonna say it doesn't take much to please her, but like I guess we were all fortunate in the way things were assembled, that it was just, there was a synergy there, that she was loving what we were doing. I did have days where I was like, I really hope that I don't disappoint her in my performances. Like, but you know, after a while I just realized that, you know, she just completely trusted us, you know, with what we were doing. And you know, that I was super grateful for, you know, especially, you know, this being like one of her biggest novels. So yeah, you know, working with her was, you know, I don't, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
She was like family.
Yeah, literally.
She was like family. The first day I saw her walk on set, and I done a little research before, so I knew a little bit about her, but I hadn't read any of her books prior to the experience. But I knew what she looked like because I researched her. So when I saw her walk in, she just kind of went over, got some breakfast, and sat by herself. And I like went over and sat next to her, and I was like, "Hi, I'm so grateful to be in your in your movie." And she gave me this big warm hug, and it felt like a family member. It felt like, oh, I've known you all my life. It was like a family reunion. And then she was just so supportive of like us throughout the entire process. And do you remember, Jeremy, after we did the bathtub scene when we came out, and she was like, that's the bathtub love scene I've ever seen. I see for both of you.
Yep.
It was weird because she had this matriarchal presence, like a mother.
Very matriarchal.
Very matriarchal. But then you were also like doing these love scenes and coming out and being like, "What did we do?"
Yeah. And she was, you did it. I was like, all right. Yeah.
Love is you're happy.
Yeah.
It was really funny. I met Brenda Jackson before I had read the Granger Brothers, and I'd met her at RT, and I was super excited to meet her. And then we started reading her books, and as I'm reading Granger Brothers, I'm like, this is really good. Oh my God, I'm just picturing Brenda, and she is like this motherly figure, and you're like, you wrote these words.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And then I was rewriting the script and really like analyzing all the words and all the dialogue and all the actions. And you're like, wow, Brenda.
Yeah. She went there.
She went there.
Yeah.
Before we did our first love scene, Lane pulled me into a room, and she goes, I know you're listening to the book on I was listening to the audiobook. She goes, I know you're listening to it. Have you listened to the full love scene, the first love scene? And I was like, oh, I don't think I got there. And she's like, okay, let's listen to it together. So we sat down and she started playing it, and I'm like, no. Like our mouths just kept like dropping, and like Lane is blushing and I'm blushing, and she was like, can you believe Brenda wrote this? Wow.
Awesome. I know.
Right.
Yeah. I loved having Brenda. Brenda's such an amazing help. I love it when the author's on set. It makes such a big difference to us at PassionPod. And we love to have as much input from the authors as possible, because it is ultimately their vision that we're bringing to life. And so having Brenda on set, and she was like paying attention to every line in the script and really making sure that every little thing was hit. It was like, well, this is great. It's like having another creative producer on set. She's so invested in everything. It was like, if there was anything that she didn't like, or somebody wanted to change or anything, she'd immediately mention it to me, or somebody would, and I'd be like, oh, okay, well, whatever Brenda wants, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, that's absolutely nice to get immediate feedback.
Yeah.
She was awesome. She definitely right before the release gave me quite a few calls being like, okay, now how does this person sign up, or how does that person sign up? And I was like, I love that you're spreading the word, Brenda. It's really wonderful.
Oh yeah,
she's just such a sweet lady.
She's very hands-on. We love that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And so to dive a little deeper into the roles you guys played, you played Shana, who was a pretty badass lady. And I was wondering if you could talk more about what it was like getting into that character and how you related to her.
I loved Shana. From the moment I read the script and just kind of started to think about sinking into the role. I mean, it was kind of like Shana's like everything like I want to be, She was just super badass. She was so smart, unapologetically smart. She like walked into the Granger's office and was like, listen, this is how you need to fix your company. She was very clear. And I love that she was also sexually free in a way. I mean, she wasn't ashamed of her sexuality. She was holding back from Jace because she didn't want to have issues with her professional relationship.
Right.
And she was also hurt. You end up finding that out too. So she's navigating that, but she also is very unapologetic. One of my favorite moments is when she calls out Jace and she goes, look, you know, she goes, we need to talk. It's about your libido and my hormones.
Yeah.
We need to just put this all out on the table. When I read that, I was like, yes. Because how many times have I wanted to actually say that to a guy and be like, all right, let's just talk about this right now.
Yeah.
And the fact that she was so unapologetic and able to do it, but she was also extremely graceful. And in my mind, she was so full of love. She loved her sister. She loved her father. She had this great familial relationship as well that was feeding her. And so that was very special to me. It was really special for me to play a character that had family members and who was navigating their family in addition to their professional life. And I just thought she was super sexy. So for me, it was just kind of like allowing myself to be as unapologetic as possible about all the things that I admire in most women. The women here, it's like this unapologetic willingness to like be the most powerful version of yourself. And so that's what I was thinking about when I was headed to set.
I love that.
I love that.
That's awesome.
And you have the woman, hello, Sally's daughter in the background.
Sally's daughter in the background.
Try not to laugh, and I just see her. Keep talking. I'm gonna just,
And Jeremy, you had to have a very close bond with the guys playing your brothers, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you got into that process.
Well, it was pretty easy from the get, to be honest with you. Like when we first flew in, the day that we got to our hotel, and we all met up, we did our table read, and then Rob was like, oh, well, I'm gonna go to the lobby bar, if you guys want to come and just grab some food or whatever. And literally from that moment, I could tell like there was this like brotherly like energy already, just like I don't know what it was, maybe it's because we're, three Black dudes in Florida making a movie. I don't know what it was, but it was definitely very comfortable from the get. And so immediately I felt this air of trust, and especially with Rob, who, he works as a regular, pretty professionally all the time. And he did not have an air about him that was like, I'm too good, for you. I don't have the time. Which that really ushered in a really, awesome respect for one another, that we're really here for what this is, what this project represents. We're here for what this is, not for who we are as individuals. And that immediately, rings very well with me, because I treat acting like a service to people, and that's why I do it. And so I immediately felt that they had the same energy. So that immediately created this brotherly like bond. And from there was just easy to create on set.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
The three of you really do come across as brothers. I love it. Like a
We-
family from the very beginning of it, and just how you guys would sort of like almost ad-lib together and just throw out your lines. You're like, it was like just beautifully done. It was like really a great chemistry between the three of you.
And we still talk like brothers. We have a text chain going. So once in a while, like they'll check in, and it's like the same brotherly banter from set. It's hilarious. I'm amazed by it. It's like literally, it's like, you guys did this movie, so you're brothers for life.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah.
I love it.
And I'm an only child. So for me, it's like, I don't know anything about what it's like to have brothers or sisters. I've only always simulated in my mind what that feels like. But I mean, aside from maybe playing sports and stuff, it's kind of like that camaraderie. But I think there's a little bit deeper of a layer than just camaraderie with a brotherly like relationship. And I think on that set was the first time I actually was like, I could see how I kind of getting a glimpse of what it feels like to have brothers.
Yeah.
I mean, we were so comfortable with one another. We'd go in each other's hotel rooms like unannounced. You know, it was very like brothers. So yeah, I was like very grateful for that as well.
I love that. Yeah, you guys came across very well. No one would guess that you hadn't had brothers or siblings before that, because you just played it off. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And what was it like working with kind of the PassionFlix world that we create, and meeting, you got to meet some founding members on set, and then also some more founding members at Rare London. Can you guys talk about what it was like kind of seeing the world of the fans?
Your fans are so amazing. They are, well, my first experience with the fans was after you guys announced that I was playing Shana on Instagram. My Instagram page blew up and I got all these like direct messages from fans, and they were like I hadn't done anything, you know, and they were cheering me on, and they were like, "You're going to be the best, Shana." And I was like, amazed and humbled, and then also terrified, because I was like, okay, I have to live up to this expectation, because they're ready. And I didn't realize that so many people had been so invested in this story before we filmed it. So then meeting the fans and seeing it, that was also like, you guys have created this. I mean, we did a film that was kind of based in a family atmosphere, but you guys have created this family atmosphere also. So then the fans are also a part of that, and they're an extension of it. And really, without them, where would any of us be? So meeting the fans and them, you know, kind of talking to us about our characters and about our scenes, like they already knew the story, so that was so fascinating. It wasn't going to be this new project that came out. They were like, oh, how was it to film this scene? And I'm like, oh right, they know this story and they know this character. And in London, that blew my mind, because sometimes our world, we can be in our own little bubbles, and when you kind of step outside of your world and like meet people who are from all over the place, because not everybody was from London, they were from all over, who flew in for that event, and they knew about Shane and Bradford, and they knew about Jace and the Grangers, and they knew about Brenda Jackson, and they were so excited to take pictures with us. And then we also got to experience it with Jordan and David, who are amazing. Like, we loved them so much. And they had the same experience that we had in terms of just like this bond. So that was a lot of fun. And to see them interacting with their fans who love Dirty Sexy Saint. And it was just like, I was overwhelmed and so grateful that I got to experience that part of it.
Yeah, you know, there's this extension of being an actor, of wanting to, you know, have some kind of feedback on how you're doing, or, you know, or where your place is in all of this, especially in a universe that has been created in a book before. And with PassionFlix, it's like you almost getting this instant gratification from the fan base. Like, they're instantly like egging you on, like it's like straight support from the beginning. So I felt very comfortable immediately as, like, you know, being Jace for this fan base. But the added bonus was having people on set, and then like you finish a scene and they look at you and they're like, you know, and you're like, wow, cool, you know, because I've been on many sets and that is not the case. You're left to wait for weeks and weeks, sometimes months, before you hear anything or even see the performance. So that was really nice. I love the PassionFlix universe in that sense. And the other side of it is, I got to experience something as a, I guess, a newcomer actor in this realm of sort of like this take on like how I see actors go to Comic-Con and things like that. I basically got to do that. I got to meet the fans, you know, be in their element, and really get a sense of how it's being appreciated directly. And that's all you really want if you're truly acting in service to others, is that it's making some kind of an impact to, you know, pull somebody out of their world for a little bit and bring some joy and happiness to them. I love to see the smiling faces of the fans and everybody involved. It's just, you know, I've got nothing that I can say that rubbed me the wrong way. I loved every aspect of it. I mean, it's truly passionate.
Yeah. I personally, I mean, I love it when the fans come, and I love our fans so much. They're supportive, and we wouldn't be here without them. But when I'm directing a movie, or when we cast somebody or whatever it may be, and having their immediate response coming back to us going, it's just like how I pictured it. This is great. Oh, this person's going to be so wonderful. And they really interact and they give you that immediate feedback. It's like doing a play almost when you
yes.
And then you get this immediate feedback. You're like, oh, they clapped. That was good. They liked it.
Yes, exactly. It is
Um,
very reminiscent to theater. Yeah.
yeah. So to all of our fans out there, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And one last little thing about Rare London is that that was the first time we brought, aside from Book Bonanza where David and Jordan and Olivia joined us, that was the first like book event that we brought cast to, which was crazy, but it was great because a lot of people came by and said hi and took pictures with you guys. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about what it was like going to London and if you explored and just what that was like.
Jeremy, you explored way more than me. I was so fast. I was so sad to have to leave so fast.
Should I take this one? I should. Okay.
Go for it.
So for me, since I was a child, I'd been obsessed with London. It had been my dream to go to London. So this was a dream within a dream, realized. So I made the most of it. I extended my trip. I stayed out there. I connected with friends that I've connected with in past experiences, and stayed with them and just kind of navigated my way out there. It was absolutely amazing. That experience at Rare, again, that was like one of those things where it's like, this is like the Comic-Con of romance novels. This is the same. Every aspect of my trip to London was just, I don't know, it was incredible. I mean, like it's just no experience I don't know, that growing up in America and then you go over there, there's just a total different air.
Yeah, I love London.
Oh my God, it was just, yeah, you just, like out there, I'm just a guy. Nobody really is paying attention to who I am or that cares, and I really dug that, it was just beautiful to just get in the subways and go, ride around the town, and especially like meeting the fans as well. Also, the fans were very accommodating. Don't get me, I mean, like they were like, hey, if you want to meet up, like there's gonna be this party, and I did not engage.
Oh, I know exactly which fans those are.
Like I was just like, okay, so that's available to me. The other thing was, a buddy of mine that I used to work at like we worked like minimum wage jobs together. He was also at Rare, which was amazing. He was in the booth right next to us.
Oh, that was
my God.
The narrators.
Zachary Webb?
Yes.
Zachary Weber.
He's
and I was like,
big narrator.
I met him at Love in Vegas again, and I remember taking a selfie with him and sending it to you, Jeremy, because it was like,
yeah. So that was insane. Like we literally worked like at Soul Cycle, like almost like 10 years ago or something like that. And then like we're in London, and I'm like, oh, Zach, what's up? Didn't we talk about this? We talked about this. We said one day when we finally went on the other end, it was like, it literally it happened. And it was like, oh my God. So he was like inviting me to go to his house. And it was, I mean, I've had no other experience like my trip to London. I can't wait to go back. I mean, it was, I had a ball.
Lauren also took Jeremy and I around like the night after. It was so crazy because I still have videos on my phone that I recorded of Jeremy exploring London, being so silly. And every time we got on the train, because he was just talking a lot. So every time we got on the train, someone would be like, American? Because they were hearing his accent. So we were like making friends, but Lauren took us around. We saw like the Eye of London. I remember we took pictures in front of that. Yeah. And then where else? We
walked to Buckingham Palace, and then I flagged a black cab back to the tube station so you guys could ride in one of the London cabbies.
I remember Buckingham Palace being so small.
It was
I was like, that's it?
I think it looks smaller than you expect it to, for sure, when you see it in person. But yeah, it was like 9 or 10 at night. Everybody else took like an Uber back to the hotel, and we decided to take trains, and we did a little sightseeing along the way, and it was fun.
Yeah.
It is a palace in the middle of a large city.
It is.
Yes. Yeah.
I know. I feel like the Windsor estate is a little bit bigger. That's outside.
It's significant.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah,
certainly.
that was super fun getting to know you guys more and experiencing that city again with you. That was really cool.
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad it was with you guys.
Well, now we're just gonna have to find a new city or country to take you to go and film something else.
No, for sure.
Don't get me excited. I'll be there.
Jeremy and I shared an hour and a
no,
was it an
Wait, what was that?
Jeremy and I were on the same flight from LA to London, and then we shared, I want to say it was an hour and a half long ride from the Gatwick airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, because he was like,
we had a hilarious cab driver.
We did. He was great.
Yeah.
And then we were on the wrong side of the road. We were passing all this countryside, and Jeremy's just like, yo, we're here. And I'm like, are you not tired?
No.
And then he was like,
there's
you
no
guys
aspect of that trip where
plane?
I was tired. Not like every moment was just magic for me. Yeah. I loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we have some questions from founding members, so I thought I'd ask a couple of those real quick. This is a just regular fan who we had a post on our main page, and we had a couple fans post there as well. And I'm gonna butcher her name, but I think it's Chia or Che. And she says, as a woman of color, representation is very important to me. How does representation affect your project choices, and did this weigh in on choosing this project? Big question to start with.
Yeah. So definitely being a woman of color and knowing how important representation is, that's always a factor when I am considering a role and when I'm considering how the character is being represented. So what made me really excited about Shana and A Brother's Honor was the fact that I felt like she was a layered, complex character, that she was not just a full woman, because that's another thing. Like with women characters, we're always kind of fighting to like have a full sense of self and to be layered and to be interesting and to not just play this one dimension. And so as a woman of color, there's also that part of it too, compounded by stereotypes. So I was so glad that there were no stereotypes involved in the creation of Shana Bradford, that she was, to me, a walking, talking, breathing human being who was layered and complicated and interesting and unapologetic and all of those things. And I think as a person of color, as an actor of color, I think it's really important that we see people of color fall in love on screen. I think that's so important. That needs to be a part of the narrative, because Black people do fall in love and people of color do fall in love. Like, it's sad that you have to say that, but I think sometimes we forget that images are so important. So without that image and that representation, we can dehumanize people and forget that that's a part of their existence. And so to see other, I mean, Tosca, when I came to see Dirty Sexy Saint, there was a group of women that were there, a group of fans, and one woman pulled me to the side and she said to me, she said, hey, I just wanted to say that I'm so grateful that when you portrayed Shana Bradford, that you wore your hair in its natural curly pattern, because I'm so afraid to wear my hair curly because I feel like I can't wear it like that because it's not appropriate. And like, the fact that that's still part of the conversation, but that she recognized that, and that's just that reminder of like representation and how important it is for people to see themselves. So yeah, it's very important, and I'm super grateful that PassionFlix is diversifying and that is seeking out stories that represent people of all different backgrounds. That means so much to me.
Yeah, we certainly are, and you know, we haven't done as much as we would like to do. Obviously, we can't make as many films as I'd like to make. I am trying. We're only 2 years old, but we're 2 years old. 12 films later. You know, so you know, any recommendations, please send them over. Obviously, we love working with Brenda Jackson, and we will continue making those movies. But the more representation we can have, we have a full belief, people see, people do, which is why it's about communication and connection. We want people to really be able to have those moments on screen, and love is love.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, literally.
Love is love, and we want to make sure that everybody understands that love is love, and that's what we're going to show.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Great.
Do you want to talk about a little bit about that, Jeremy, or do you feel like
Yes, yes, absolutely. I was gonna, for me, I am definitely on the same page. I mentioned earlier that um, my original dream was to study psychology and journalism, and I was going to conjoin the two in some sort of profession, or I wanted to help heal the world in some sort of sense. And I believe that narrative and using mass communication like film and television can really, really change the way things are seen and the way people perceive realities for other people. And the first thing that I noticed when I read the script was that this is outside of the normal stereotypes that you normally see. If anything, there's a lot of dignity, a lot of honor, a lot of pride. And that was the greatest thing that I loved about Jace, was this is a character who literally had wholesome values, right? I mean, from the get, he's honoring his grandfather's death wish. You don't see that a lot in a lot of Black cinema, and I wanted to really be a part of that. That's one of the main things I said even before I had even seen the script, was the psychology is in the narrative in film. If I can meet the right people or create the right projects, we can really change the way we're viewed, especially in this country. And I think it's important. And so that was absolutely in alignment with my core values of even why I even started to do this. And so that's why this project was, falling under the umbrella of passion. I fell immediately in love with it and was passionate about the character because of that. This is really important, and especially in these times, and all I can say is I am eternally grateful for you guys creating this platform and then wanting to create this project with Brenda Jackson, because again, it does need to be, shown that other aspects of, the existence, not just Blacks, but just people of color in general, there's dignity, there's pride, there's also shame, there's also guilt. There's so many dimensions of what it is to just be alive. And we want to show that, period. So absolutely in alignment with my values. I loved every aspect of it. It was very important.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Because the romance novel industry itself is very lacking in diversity. There have been quite a few studies done on it, especially by the Ripped Bodice bookstore, which is a romance-only bookstore. They've released it every year since 2017. A basically pie chart of like the percentage of diverse authors.
Well,
it's slowly getting bigger, but it needs to be more of a thing.
What I'll add to that is, how many times have you seen a romance film with people of color that have created the author that wanted to write romance novels? You see, the more that gets out, the more that will inspire people to do such things.
Yeah.
The more that people see that there's a Brenda Jackson in the world, the more that's going to inspire people to do that. So it's important. This platform is very powerful. Film, I mean, there's almost nothing more powerful than getting a film made and just getting it out to the world.
Right. Yeah.
Because what it can do, it's beyond us what it will do, but it will definitely plant seeds. That's for sure. And I think that's what we're doing here. It's important. We're planting seeds.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love it. Oh, great answer. And I'm looking at more of the founding member questions, and we actually already answered a bunch of these.
Yeah.
But one person wanted to ask a little bit more specifically, what was a favorite moment or scene you guys shared together? And I don't know if it's different than that.
Insemination.
We have that common ground that was probably one of the most memorable moments for sure.
That was one of the most memorable. But my favorite scene, I think, was the scene in the cabin on the couch, the fireplace scene where we're talking, where Jace and Shana are talking. It's one of the first times you actually see them sharing their stories with each other, because up until that point they're kind of like navigating their attraction for each other and navigating the world of Granger Aeronautics. And so that's the first time that you see them, just the two of them. And it was just the two of us on set that day. And so we were able to just kind of like just zone in on that conversation and what is underneath that conversation. What are they not saying? What do they want to say?
Oh, yeah. The one in front of the fireplace.
Yes, the one in
Yeah.
front of the fireplace.
Yeah,
That was one of my favorites.
That was certainly yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
That was a great day, I'll say, yeah.
And have you guys read any more Brenda Jackson books since? Did you guys? I know you were listening to the Audible, Celestine, but Jeremy, did you read any of the Brothers Oliver books?
I dove into the I already forgot the Brothers Vow.
Lover's Vow.
Lover's Vow. Yeah, I dove into that a little bit, but I have not like I started the Audible on it, but I have not completed it. I just got bombarded with a lot of other stuff. Not that I'm not interested. I'm obviously going to get through it. No, I am, because I absolutely love Brenda and I love what she's creating. Also, she's already reason why I didn't go fully into it is because she's already tipped me off on what happens in all of them. So I'm kind of like, all right, I already know what's happening, but I'm like I'll get to it. I'm going to finish it. But
it's A Man's Promise, right? A Man's Promise.
There's A Man's Promise, but there's another one of some
Lover's Vow.
Yeah.
A Lover's Vow.
Yeah.
That's the one that I started to get into. And,
I listened to the next two. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
What's that?
No, I was saying when I came back from Florida, because I have a hard time saying goodbye to people and characters. So then I was knowing that we were going to shoot the next two, then I like got on I listened to the next two because I needed to know what the rest of her story was.
Right.
I couldn't let her go. So I've gone ahead.
I love that.
Yeah.
And now I thought we could do a fun lightning round that Allie will lead us through.
Okay.
Something we're mixing around and changing with each new podcast, which is fun.
And apologies again if Daisy pops in. I have a wonderful 2.5-year-old that I'm here with.
Love Daisy.
Yeah.
For that precious moment.
Yeah. And now she's saying she wants pizza. But anyways, I thought for this, I will say a word to you, and I want you to say the first word that comes to mind, right? So there'll be 10 words for each of you. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay. So just the first word that comes to mind. Okay, ready?
Sure.
Jace.
I'm sorry, what?
Jace.
Honorable.
Celestine.
Wonderful.
Passion.
Adore.
Work.
Why am I stumped on work? Discipline.
Love.
Oh, fantastic.
Winter.
I wanted to say exuberant, but it doesn't make sense in my mind. Winter, cozy.
Like it. Just a few more. Tinder.
App?
Yeah, the app.
The app, or like literally the app?
Yeah.
No.
That's your answer. That's a good answer.
No, that's a great answer.
What about vacation?
Oh, vacation. Immerse me in it. Whatever. Something like that, you know.
Yeah, 2 more. Family.
Why can I not think of English words? Family.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Are you regretting to go first now?
No, not at all.
No,
I'm surprised at myself. Like, okay, a family. Like, I would do anything for family with unit. I just can't think of a word that's good for that.
You skipping family?
I'm not skipping family. Oh man, what is a word that's good for family?
What's the first word you think
What's
of?
the first word you think of?
What's the first?
Doesn't have
Unit?
Unit.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Your last and your last one is home.
Oh, heart.
Heart. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready, Celestine?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. I think this one's a little bit maybe easier. Maybe not. Okay, first word, Shana.
Badass.
Okay, Jeremy.
Sweetheart.
Romance.
Passion.
Work.
Hustle.
Passion flicks.
Family.
Summer.
Summer?
Yeah.
Oh, freedom. Freedom.
You made me cry.
City.
Which was the word? Sorry.
Sorry, city.
City. Busy.
State. Adventure.
Adventure. Living.
Family.
See?
There's so much to say about family.
Yeah.
All right. We can't.
Foundation. Foundation.
Okay. And your last one is paradise.
Oh, God. Anywhere by the water. Water.
Oh, nice.
That's
Awesome.
Just a fun little exercise.
Yeah, I'm glad you went first, Jeremy.
It certainly keep you on your toes. I like that.
Family. I was
Yeah.
like,
I know. That really.
Crying now. Good job, Celestine.
That's the first word that came to my mind.
Aw.
oh,
On
that's
that lovely, wholesome note, I think that wraps us up. Do you guys have any last thoughts to share before we say goodbye?
Thank you.
I love it all.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
I love
you
you
so
guys
much.
too.
Yeah.
I look forward to working together again.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see
Likewise.
you all in person again, and
I
just
know.
spread the love, continue to grow.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Love you guys. All right. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, Jeremy.
Bye.
So good to see you. Bye, guys.
Bye, Celestine. Oh, I love them so much.
I know.
Like those guys.
I know.
Katie.
They're so awesome.
So nice. I'm like, when can we start filming?
I know.
I know.
So,
They're such
I wonder
sweet.
what it would be like going to Florida to film, or if that's where we're gonna go. Kind of have to because of the Granger home, but who knows?
Right. Yeah. That was a really great home that you guys found. It's crazy. All right, cool.
Yeah.
It was good chatting with you guys again and having more fun guests on with us.
So good chat.
If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the video below or on one of our social media pages, and we'll try to answer them in the next post. Thanks.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.